The airport was loud and busy, filled with rolling suitcases, flashing screens, and voices from every direction. People hurried through long hallways, checking boarding passes and watching the time. A private jet waited quietly on the runway outside. Inside the plane, everything was calm and polished. Soft leather seats, clean white lights, quiet air. A man named Marcus sat near the window in first class. He was in his early 40s, dressed in a simple dark suit with no visible logos. His watch was plain, his shoes clean but not flashy. Nothing about him screamed wealth. But Marcus was a billionaire. He had built his success slowly, starting from nothing. He did not enjoy attention. He preferred quiet, order, and respect. Marcus sat calmly, reviewing a document on his tablet. He did not speak. He did not rush. A flight attendant named Claire walked down the aisle, checking overhead bins. She moved quickly, clearly stressed. The flight was delayed, and several passengers had complained already. When Claire reached Marcus, she stopped. She looked at his seat number, then at him. "Sir," she said sharply, "this seat is reserved." Marcus looked up calmly. "This is my assigned seat," he replied, holding up his boarding pass. Claire did not take it. She crossed her arms. "I need you to move. There has been a mistake." Marcus remained calm. "I checked in early. This is correct."
Her tone changed.
"Sir, I do not have time for this," she said. "Please stand up." Several passengers nearby began to watch. Marcus slowly stood, still holding his boarding pass. He extended it toward her. Claire glanced at it briefly, but did not read it fully. "You people always think rules do not apply to you," she said under her breath. Marcus froze. He looked at her, surprised but controlled. "I am only asking you to check the pass," he said quietly. Claire's frustration exploded. In a sudden moment, she raised her hand and struck him across the face. The sound echoed through the cabin. Gasps filled the air. The plane went silent. Marcus stood still, his head turned slightly from the impact. His expression did not change, but the moment burned into the room. Claire stepped back, breathing fast, as if she had just realized what she had done. "What just happened?" someone whispered. A nearby passenger stood up. "She just hit him," he said loudly. Marcus slowly turned his head back forward. He touched his cheek lightly. Then he looked directly at Claire. "I will not touch you," he said calmly. "But this will not be ignored." The cabin crew rushed in. A supervisor arrived quickly, asking questions. Claire tried to explain, her voice shaking. "He was refusing to move," she said. Marcus raised his hand slightly. "I did not refuse," he said. "I asked for fairness." The supervisor took the boarding pass from Marcus and checked it carefully. Her face changed. "This is his seat," she said quietly. The cabin grew tense. Claire's face went pale. "I need you to step aside," the supervisor said. Marcus sat back down slowly. Passengers stared at him now, not with judgment, but with curiosity. Who was this man who stayed so calm after being treated so wrongly? Marcus picked up his tablet again, his hands steady. But his eyes were focused. Not on anger, on action. Because Marcus did not believe in loud reactions. He believed in consequences. And in exactly 2 minutes, everything on that plane was about to change. The cabin remained quiet after the supervisor confirmed the seat. Passengers whispered softly. Some shook their heads. Others watched Marcus with new eyes. He sat calmly, his face steady, his posture unchanged. Claire stood a few steps away, breathing fast. Her confidence was gone. The moment had turned against her. The supervisor spoke firmly. "Claire, please come with me."
Claire tried to speak.
"I was under pressure," she said. "The flight is late." People were arguing. The supervisor did not argue back. "That does not excuse what happened," she said. They walked toward the front of the plane. Marcus watched without expression. He did not raise his voice. He did not point fingers. He did not demand anything. Instead, he reached into his jacket and took out his phone. He typed one short message. That was all. 2 minutes later, a quiet alert sounded on the supervisor's device. She checked it. Her face changed. She read the message again, slowly. Then she looked toward Marcus. She walked back to him, her tone careful now. "Sir," she said, "may I speak with you privately?" Marcus nodded and stood calmly. They moved a few steps into the aisle, away from the other passengers. "I just received a call from corporate," the supervisor said. "They are asking about an incident involving a passenger named Marcus Reed." Marcus met her eyes. "That would be me." Her posture straightened. "Sir, are you the founder of Reed Global Holdings?" Marcus nodded once. "Yes." The supervisor swallowed. Reed Global Holdings was not just another company. It owned airports, logistics firms, aircraft leasing services, and technology used by airlines around the world. This airline was one of their partners. "I was not aware," she said quietly. Marcus remained calm. "That is not the issue," he replied. "No one should need a title to be treated with respect." She nodded slowly. "You are right." Another crew member approached, whispering urgently to the supervisor. "Corporate wants a full report," she said. Immediately. Marcus turned back toward his seat. "Please handle your flight," he said. "I will remain here." The supervisor hesitated. "Sir, we would like to offer." Marcus raised his hand gently. "I am not asking for comfort," he said. "I am asking for accountability." She nodded and stepped away. At the front of the plane, Claire sat silently now. Her hands were shaking. She stared at the floor, replaying the moment in her mind. A senior manager boarded the plane shortly after. He moved quickly, serious and focused. He spoke to the supervisor, then to Claire. Claire stood up slowly and followed him off the plane. Passengers watched quietly. No shouting. No drama. Just consequence. Marcus returned to his seat and looked out the window. The plane had not moved yet. But something else had shifted. A man across the aisle leaned toward him. "Sir," he said softly, "I saw everything. You handled it with dignity." Marcus nodded. "Thank you." Another passenger added, "You did not deserve that." Marcus replied calmly, "No one does." Moments later, an announcement came over the speaker. "Ladies and gentlemen, we apologize for the delay. We are addressing a crew matter and will depart shortly." The words were simple, but the meaning was heavy. Marcus closed his eyes briefly. He did not feel satisfied.
He felt resolved.
Because his response was never about revenge. It was about making sure the system worked the way it should. And that lesson was about to reach far beyond this flight. The plane finally began to move. Engines hummed softly as the aircraft rolled away from the gate. Passengers settled into their seats, some still thinking about what they had witnessed. Marcus sat quietly by the window. His tablet rested on the tray table, but he was not reading. He watched the ground pass slowly outside. A senior manager from the airline returned to the cabin and stopped near Marcus's seat. He spoke in a low voice. "Sir, I want to personally apologize for what happened," he said. "This does not reflect our standards." Marcus looked at him calmly. "Standards are shown through actions," he replied, "not statements." The manager nodded. "You are right. The employee involved has been removed from duty. A full review is underway." Marcus did not smile. He did not nod with approval. He simply listened. "I also want you to know," the manager continued, "we are reviewing our training and procedures. This should not happen to anyone." Marcus looked up. "That matters more than anything else," he said. The manager thanked him and walked away. As the plane reached cruising height, the cabin relaxed. Drinks were served. Conversations returned in soft voices. A young flight attendant approached Marcus carefully. She placed a glass of water on his tray. "Sir," she said quietly, "I am sorry for what you experienced." Marcus met her eyes. "Thank you," he said. "Please take care of yourself." She nodded, relieved, and moved on. Later in the flight, Marcus received a message on his phone. It was from his legal team. They had already been contacted by the airline. A formal apology was being prepared. Policies would be reviewed. Training sessions would be updated. Marcus read the message once, then locked his phone. He did not forward it. He did not celebrate it. He leaned back in his seat and closed his eyes. His thoughts drifted to his early years. Long nights working. Quiet sacrifices. learning when to speak and when to wait. Power, he had learned, was not about hurting others. It was about protecting what was right. When the plane landed, passengers stood and gathered their bags. Some glanced at Marcus with respect. Others nodded as they passed. One man stopped beside him. "You handled that better than most people would," he said. Marcus smiled slightly. "Calm is a choice," he replied. Outside the plane, the city waited. Busy.
Loud.
Unaware. Marcus walked through the terminal without attention, just another traveler among many. But something had changed. Not because a billionaire was mistreated, but because a system was challenged calmly and forced to respond. That evening, news of the incident reached the airline headquarters. Meetings were called. Policies were reviewed. Names were written down. Lessons were discussed. Not out of fear, out of responsibility. Marcus did not watch the news. He did not read headlines. He went home. He cooked a simple meal and sat at his table alone. The quiet felt earned. Before going to bed, he wrote one short note in his journal. Respect should never depend on who you are, only on how you treat others. He closed the book and turned off the light. The next day, the world moved on. Flights continued. People hurried. Life stayed busy. But somewhere within the airline, and within the people who witnessed that moment, something stayed behind. A reminder that dignity is strongest when it is calm, and that true power does not strike back. It corrects the path.